Hi folks, welcome back. It's a big barn build. Big day today. We're going to be taking a look at our bricks and having a start at a couple of different mortars. And hopefully by the end of it, you'll be able to give us your opinion and we'll be able to make a decision what we're going to do for the rest of, well, the next 2 months. So stick around and let's take a look. So Tom's going to start off with this mix, which is going to be a white cement, yellow sand, bit of hydrated lime mix, and we're going 1-1-5. 1-1-5, and we'll see what that one's like. But yeah, it's not going to have as much texture as some of the older lime mortars around the farm, but it could work. The other option is a lime putty mortar, which I've ordered in. And that's ready mix. It's all gauged and everything, so all we need to do to that is knock it up again. That's what I've used in the past with repointing stonework. That's what would be nice when it comes to repointing around or building around these oak, because there's a bit more flexibility in the lime mortar. But let's have a play, and we're going to do 2 little test panels here, see how we get on. So if you haven't used a ready mix putty mortar before, it kind of comes to you like this. Kind of dry, but still with a little bit of moisture in it. You don't really want to add any water to this, ideally. You just want to knock it up and bring it back to life just through the action of the mixer. Rather than using a cement mixer, I'm going to use a paddle mixer, just on an SDS. That's what I used last time. Seems to work fine. I'll do half at a time, just so I can get a good mix and really give it a good work around. And it should end up quite smooth, even though you'd think if this was a cement mortar, it would be game over, you'd be chucking it away. But actually this can sit like this for indefinitely almost, as long as it's wrapped up. So let's see what happens. I'll show you quickly what it's like now. Just, it's always quite interesting how much it changes with adding no water at all. So here's how it came to us. So that's how it comes in the bag, and just simply the action of knocking it up in a really workable mix. And we haven't added anything to that. You wouldn't really want to, because it's been all gauged properly. That's everything we need to get started. We'll let it sit for a little bit longer, do one more little mix, and that should be good and give us a longer working time as well. In typical Tim fashion, I haven't really got a swatch or a sample or anything. I just went off website photos and spoke with the lime suppliers, and they said this one is a good one for laying bricks because it's got smaller aggregate. It's kind of 2mm maximum. Some of them are much bigger and gritty for more for stonework and things like that. So the only downside is this looks very, very different from what I was expecting. I was expecting lighter, and when you compare this to what Tom's just knocked up, these panels, test panels, are going to look very different until this maybe, just maybe, goes lighter. It doesn't take much to realise that these are 2 very different looking wet mortars. So we've got the yellow sand, white cement, nice and light mix on the right, and this one, well, we'll just have to see what happens over the next few days. A little bit on the bricks we're using. These are a handmade clay brick, reclaimed looking, very reclaimed looking, to be honest. They're very weathered. These are an imperial size as well. That shouldn't really affect anything because this is independent. It's not matching the coursing of anything else, and we kind of like the look anyway. Plus we could get them quicker. We only have one face showing, so we've got a bit of, well, we've got 2 choices. You can see here, a little bit too reclaimed for my liking, so we'll find a better face and we'll use that. Equally, every 8th, 10th brick is slightly darker, and therefore we can pick either a lighter face or again a smoother, cleaner face to use. Just doing our final bit of head scratching because part of this is to work out how thick our bed's going to be. Our window sills are at a set point. We'd like to end up on a full brick. These are imperial, and we want to make sure that we get to that point evenly around the whole building. So we have worked out that we can either have a 9mm bed or a, what was the other one? 13. We're going to aim for a 9, see if either of these or both of these mortars allow for that, and if they do, then we'll do 3 or 4 courses, measure up and just check to see if we've kind of stayed on course. Otherwise we might have to rethink it and bump up that mortar a little bit to 13, but that might just be a bit too big. Oh, I already like the look of your mortar better.
I think I can get the 9mm bed easily.
You could come off that, you could take a course off, scrape all the mortar back in the bucket and knock it up again.
Yeah.
That's,
I find that mind-blowing.
Yeah. The weird thing is you can take all the lime mortar out of the parlour or one of those buildings down there, and with a bit more lime putty, knock straight up again. Right, no decisions have been made because I was over there looking at Tom laying with the white cement thinking that's the answer, that looks way nice to work with. And we've swapped. Now Tom likes the lime, and although this has got the colour we're looking for already, we don't know what the lime's going to do. It might end up the same colour, and the lime is way nicer. Both of us have said that it's just giving us more work time. You can tweak things around a little bit more, and I don't know, maybe it's the amount of the hydrated lime in this, but it's quite claggy and it's a very fine sand as well. So could be variants on the white cement mix, but the jury is still out. Like 34 degrees today. We've just put a little bit of lime out here. Just want to see how light it really goes, because at the moment that just looks like bog standard cement mortar. But I have a feeling that that's going to end up significantly lighter. We might even chuck a little bit in the oven and just see what happens.
I guess the thing with this is you got to be confident that it's not drying too quickly or the rain gets it.
With the lime?
Yeah.
We've got all the Hessian and stuff, so
yeah.
If we know it's going to be a hot week, we just don't do the south wall.
Yeah.
Seven to 7. Oh, there's too much
It's
math.
the worst math to me, a 7. I don't know what it is.
We should go back to school. Right.
And every time my brain is just like, just get your phone.
77 times 5. 385. These numbers will be burnt into our memory forever.
Yeah.
It's like Rain Man. Okay, so we're not 385. Yikes.
What have you gone up too much?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's 398.
Oh wow.
But they don't look massive. Well, I think it just takes one brick. I mean, I can tell that brick's about 5mm fatter.
And in my view though, as soon as you've lost it once, you'll never grind it back because you've naturally crept up.
Yeah.
What are you on? What did you get to? I'm not going to tell you mine.
What was I meant to be? 385. I think I'm on nearly 400.
No, I'm over. Well over.
Over 400.
Yeah, I was too high when I joined yours. 400. Exactly.
That's what this is.
Okay.
So what is
So we're going for a 13mm bed.
Yeah, but what's that? So
68.
that'd be interesting to see if we've how far.
81.
So 81 times 5. 405.
There we are then.
And that means one whole course less bricks all the way around, which is a good thing because we're short on bricks as it is.
Yeah. That's way easier to stick to. So I'm just under that, and you're about the same. Yeah. So yeah, that line's great. I could still work that now, that top row, and hammer it down and.
Yeah. For a case of colour rather than if we both are happy with lime, it's a case of are we happy with the colour once it's dry. Right, we're 3 hours on now. Things are starting to change. It's kind of an evolving situation, this. I'll show you the cement one first. So without judging the actual bricklaying skills, this is the cement mortar, and as you can see, quite a buff colour. Went off very, very quick. We were a little bit late to tool it and brush it off. That is option 1. Now we quite like the colour of that, but I think that's still got a good bit of drying to do. And if you look at some of the bits on top, it's going to end up very pale. Not necessarily a bad thing, but that's that one. And line one, very different. Like I said, I think we both fell in love with this mix. Have you got an opinion, my love?
We're mid-children's sleepover, Tim. I'm trying to get a bed together for them.
I need an opinion.
No, I like the left-hand side, but I'm going to wait because you promised me that the other one will get lighter.
Yeah, I think they're
But
going
I
to change.
still think I'm not going to want flecks of. I think that one's still going to be greater.
It would be cooler,
Whereas
yeah.
that one's going to be warmer, and I prefer a warmer look.
Yeah, I think I do. It's just not true to the area or to the buildings.
Right.
We are 3 or 4 hours on now. Things are starting to change. Now the cement mortar really did go off pretty quick. Excuse my bricklaying. We are working on it. It helps, you know, that these are rustic bricks, I guess. Now it's a nicer, warmer look, but we are nowhere near what it's going to end up at, because if you look at some of the bits from up top, it's going to get considerably lighter, and that is, you know, several shades off where it's going to end up. So now I think it's fair to say that this is too dark as it stands now. Tom and I both agreed that we like the lime mortar better, and we're keen to go with that. So I think the next step is going to be to get a different lime mortar blend, one that is a warmer, slightly lighter colour, and there's one called London. But interestingly, if you take this white cement mortar dropping that has dried up, and you take one of the lime ones that's dried up, they're not massively different. So that's a blob of lime on the right and a blob of white cement on the left. This is a good way of finishing, but you can see just 2 blobs that we left at the end of the day. This one here is this is the lime, and it's now got a lot lighter. And likewise this one is drying up and changing too. So we'll see what they look like in the morning and give you an update then. But while I'm at it, I'm going to show you a couple of the buildings on the farm that have got a similar brick and a similar mortar, or an old mortar we want to try and match. Now, such is the nature of the farm that it's got so many generations of buildings and walls that finding the original, or the true original walls, is a little bit tricky. Obviously not original. This one probably is one of the older bits. Now, that looks like that is a lime mortar. That has been repointed at some point. Definitely has some bigger aggregate in it, but I would say that that colour, the general tone, is somewhere in between the two mortars, in colour at least. So that's one patch of wall. There's stone walls everywhere as well, so we'll kind of ignore those, but again it's sort of quite a light lime mortar. Over the years there's been several additions to the brick building, so that gable end is not original, that's a younger brick. That's a younger brick where it would have once either been open or it's been rebuilt when these two doors were put in. However, this is original. And this one you do kind of see in relation to the barn. Only difference is here you've got cement mortar that's been poorly bunged over the top. So if we ignore that and look back further at the lime mortar beyond, which one day I'll rake out and repoint nicely, that mortar there is what we're kind of looking at matching. Similar amount of aggregate, I think, to that mix we've used today, but I'm just not sure that our lime putty mortar today is going to be as warm as that. It's going to be sort of cooler looking. Moving around the corner, same mix. So good amount of aggregate in there. Interesting that the joints up here, I don't know actually if this wall looks like it might have been rebuilt at some point. Not sure that these bricks here and these bricks here are the same. But these beds are really slim. That is, you know, 6 mil there. So either they were creeping off. Yeah, that's a really thin bed. Ashlar. Anyway, so we're talking 20 metres between some of these buildings, but you do see, you know, brick walls and the barn beyond. There is a bit of a relationship, albeit not that close together. Right, we thought it was all over, but it's definitely not over. We are about 10 days on, 2 weeks on now, so we've got a pretty accurate view of what these mortars are going to end up like. We're not happy. We've got a third one. We're going to do that now. First up, let's take a look at the two. As expected, everything's got lighter. This one has gone very, very pale, which it's easy to say that that looks the best, but really it's not that in keeping. And because we're going a slightly wider mortar joint anyway, I just think that might be a bit too contrasty. Whereas this one over here is far more in keeping with the rest of the farm, but it's perhaps just a little bit cementy, if you know what I mean. It's kind of, although it's a pure lime mortar, it's just a little bit too grey and cool. So kind of hoping for something in between. But it's not just about how it looks. We know now that we definitely want to use a lime mortar. It's far nicer to work with, more work time. It's going to work better with these bricks. It's going to work better with the oak. And just generally, it's a nice way to go. That said, it's just all about the colour now. So we've got a second lime mortar to try, and it's called London Mix. It is better for bricks than stone because it's got a finer aggregate. So it should go down nice, but it's more of a warmer tan colour. So we'll knock that up, and I'll lay 4 courses. Once I've cleared the ducks out. Go on. I'm in the middle of laying the track, the top layer of stone, so I've had 160 tons of stone coming every hour. So, well, not 160 tons an hour, but a lorry an hour. So I might have to down tools on this and rush down with the digger in a minute. Now, one downside is this particular lime putty mortar, for some reason, is quite a bit more expensive than this one when you're buying it in a ton bag, and I think over the 7 or 8 ton bags we need, it will add on about £800 or £900, which is a bit frustrating when it's just aesthetics we're dealing with. So it'll have to be a vast improvement on this one to go ahead and use that as another new addition, as well as puppies and piglets on the way. It's crazy here, crazy. So it's a good bit warmer, but as we know, it's going to lighten up. Now I could probably be mixing that for another 10 minutes, but we're only doing a test sample here. It's more about the colour than anything. I think that would, with nothing added to it, that's going to become quite a nice creamy mix eventually. Now, as a reminder, we're not judging skill or well, accuracy as far as bricklaying goes, it's all about just the mortar. I can keep practicing. My lorry's back. Right, this mix I've just added about maybe an egg cup amount of water, just to make it a little bit more workable. Alright, levels and plumbness aside, we'll see how that turns out. It's actually looking almost identical to this sample panel. That said, we know it's going to dry lighter. You only have to look at the little bits on your hands. So, you know, there's a chance it could end up where we want it. But right now it looks like it's on the fake tan. So we're 2 or 3 hours, I reckon. And we'll come back and give it a knock on the brush. Right, it's time to wrap things up. And I think we're at a point where we can make a decision. This has not had anywhere near enough time to dry, but I fast-tracked a piece and I took it and just sat it in the oven on a really low heat, but with the fan on. So it does dry lighter, and I'll show you it in comparison with the white cement mortar in a minute. But I've also tried or gone and looked at a fourth option, which is same supplier, which is Timor, same lime putty, but a Shropshire blend, which is what Nextdoor used. That is similar in lightness to this, but more of a grey, which possibly would work, but it's still just as much of a contrast. And I think we're preferring the warmer look of this. I think it's going to tie in more with the saddle stones and the oak and things like that. So I'll give you a little bit of a close-up, and then hopefully between us we can make a decision. That's you, me and Joe. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is this, which is the London mortar, is a very fine aggregate, so there's less of the of the flex in it. So if I can, I might just get hold of this and I'll just see if I can get a bag of the black aggregate flex or whatever it is, porcelain, coal dust, whatever, and we'll just add a little bit in, just give it a bit of interest. There is some in here, and I think it will show up more when it's a brush joint rather than just a slab like this. See if we can just persuade a bit to show. But of course, it won't show as much until it's all dried. I mean, there are some bits in there, but I just think it could do with a little bit more interest. And that little bit I've just brushed there, I mean, it still beats the cement mortar because it's got some nice grit in it. But I just feel like we could probably just add a little bit more to that. So that's still, looking at it in a yellow form, it's going to dry. It's going to be lighter, more like that. Which looks very, very light. So this was the Ronda, which is the grey, which does match some of the stuff here in the older buildings. And I think that these flecks is what I need. Just a little bit of something like that. So if we can add that into the warmer cream colour, then we might have an answer. And here's a little look at the lime mortar that we're potentially going to go for against the white cement mortar, and it's not a million miles off, and it's not quite so white, and hopefully it's going to have a little bit more interest in it. So that could work. It's just all a bit smooth, and there's something really nice about the lime. So none of that's to say that we shouldn't be using cement mortars. There's a time and a place for them, and I think we could probably recreate this aesthetic with that mortar by maybe swapping in 1 part sharp sand and playing around with different sand sources. But the benefits to me for going with a pre-mixed lime mortar is 1, consistency. It's going to be batch mixed. The whole lot will be hopefully very, very similar. 2, it's lime. It's going to be more flexible. It's going to be kinder to the bricks, more flexible around the oak, and it potentially is a more consistent mix, that we know that in the future if we come up short in bags, or if I need a couple of bulk bags so I can repoint all the adjacent brick buildings, I can go to this and I know that it's really going to tie everything in nicely. And I've walked around the farm now with this piece, our third and final sample, and it really does tie in. It matches up quite well with a lot of the mortars I've found. So that is probably what we're going to go for. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, because it's still not too late. It is Thursday today. Video's going up tonight. I need to get this stuff ordered so that we can hopefully start laying some bricks next week. That's to say that they've got this sat in the yard ready. We've got the bricks on site. I'm going to forklift around some packs around the building so that they're a little bit more efficiently placed. We are busy on the track still, but what it has meant is now I've got a whole yard free up here because all that crushed concrete's gone. So we can start having a bit more of a clear workspace, and we can really hit the ground running when Tom gets back, and then hopefully be one step closer to getting the outside finish. So let me know your thoughts. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.